Hello, welcome to Strange. This is a very serious video about making tiny little outfits for my cat. The season is spooky, the time is correct. The question of what I'm going to dress my cat up for Halloween as is, there can't possibly be one answer. Who do you think I am? I can't choose something. It's physically impossible for me to choose one thing that I want to dress my cat up as. So this year I have set my very limited sewing and crafting skills to making a number of outfits that appeal to me. Some of them are definitely a lot more crafting heavy, whereas other ones are like, you cut a hole in a cowboy hat you already owned. The outfits are cowboy, chef, wizard / witch / magician, the iconic character we all know and love, Gobby from Trans Wizard Harriet Porber, and finally, Wednesday Addams. This one is, I guess, the real Halloween costume that is not just me fucking around. Kristen and I are going as Gomez and Morticia, and therefore Kaushik is our little child Wednesday. But before we get into it, I need to tell you a little bit about this video's sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creators. You can develop your existing interests or explore new ones and get lost in your creativity. Skillshare combines short video lessons that'll fit into anyone's schedule with class projects and hands-on feedback. You can connect with and get feedback from other creative people who share your interests, and now you can try out Skillshare's new live classes, connect with teachers, and work along with other class members in real time. I'm currently watching a course on indoor gardening taught by Ekta Chaudhry. The description says, "Do you want to harvest your own spinach?" Yes! Yes! Oh my god, I'm sold! Yes! I have quite the forest of succulents and pothos plants already, but I've been interested in getting into more herbs and vegetables and edible things, but I keep putting it off, so I'm really glad that I stumbled across this course. And you too can learn to utilize your small space, your apartment, or whatever, to grow all sorts of exciting things. I know you're a bunch of little Goblin Core Tumblr kids. I know you want to harvest your own spinach. The first 1,000 people to click the link in the description below will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare, so go check it out. And now back to your regularly scheduled content. Step 1 is, of course, to measure the boy. He was moderately squirmy, as all cats are. I was very worried about him thinking that the tape measure was a toy, since he has played with it in the past, and because cats generally go fucking insane for that sound. But he was surprisingly fine with the tape measure. But the costumes. This all really started with this cowboy hat. I'd already had this for a long time for Furby purposes, and it served me very well. But then one day, the thought possessed me to try and cut some ear holes in it and see how much my cat hated it. I also made him a little bandana thing out of, yes, you guessed it, leftover Converse pants material. It was a little bit small, but it was okay. There's a new sheriff in this town. His response to hats is apparently just freeze in confusion. What is this? Is he normal? Did you know he likes sauerkraut? I'm deluding myself into even asking if he's normal. I know that he's completely abnormal. The story behind how we found that out is that he's a cat who's very curious about human food. If we're eating dinner on the couch or something, he's always trying to sniff our plates. I tend to let him sniff because most of the time that's all he wants to do, and it's harmless. And we eat a lot of spicy food, which he absolutely hates the smell of, so just give him one sniff, get his curiosity over with, he's gonna be like, no. And so I tend to let him sniff human food, is what I'm saying. So one day, I hold out a little piece of sauerkraut for him to sniff, thinking he'll sniff it once and run away. He eats it. So I immediately look up if this could possibly be harmful. It's not, he's gonna be fine. And then 10 minutes later, I'm sitting there and I'm like, no. Why would my cat like sauerkraut? This doesn't make any sense. So I take another piece of sauerkraut and I hold it up. He eats it. My cat likes sauerkraut. 5 minutes later, I'm like, no, it doesn't. I've been Googling this as well. I've been like, do cats like sauerkraut? And the internet's like, what? No. So I'm like, my cat does not like sauerkraut. So I hold up another little tiny piece of sauerkraut and he eats it. And I'm like, okay. And this happened months ago, but there's still a part of me that is like, no, my cat doesn't like sauerkraut. So like a couple days ago, I hold up another little piece of sauerkraut and I'm like, one last time, buddy boy, he eats it. My cat likes sauerkraut. What I have here is conclusive proof that my cat is, as they say in science, not normal. Next costume is Gobby. Okay, fine, it's the Harry Potter elf. I'm doing this one because it was heavily requested, and because I do acknowledge that it is important to take advantage of one's natural resemblances when choosing a Halloween costume. Kristen donated an old t-shirt to this project, which I got to work on while my son, I don't know, chewed on some metal or whatever he does. I wanted to get the most suspicious off-color parts of it, but honestly there weren't really a lot. 6 out of 10 could have been way grosser. Overall, I would say that this was an unintimidating project. Literally the goal is to make a fucked up, ill-fitting sack, so for once I'd say I was 100% confident in my sewing ability. This was my reference picture, and you can see that it looks really like bunched up along the sides, so I did some big hand stitches along the sides so that I could pull them tighter and create that sort of bunched up effect. My first attempt Did not work. I don't know what I was thinking when I made these sleeves. No, they will not work on a cat's body. Do you want to be a free elf? Yeah, no, these sleeves are completely useless.
Those are supposed to be sleeves?
Yeah, I know. So I got to tweaking it. I made it so that the tied sleeves were sort of just more decorative and that the actual armholes were much farther down on the shirt so that it wouldn't just slide off of him. You know, despite this garment being, as I said, a fucked up sack, that doesn't mean you can't put a little extra effort into your fucked up sack. I decided to place it in the hands of the person in this household with an art degree to go rub it in the dirt. She also used some chai tea to dye it, I believe. I'm sure I could have achieved the same effect by just letting him wear it around without a bath for a month, but I do not have the time or tolerance for Sphynx cat grease to commit to that. I am upset about how good this one turned out. It's kind of everything. He just looks like such a little elf. It's just, oh. I hate how everyone was right that this one was a good idea. It was a good idea. It was a good idea. It looks really good. What are you doing? It's not gonna work as a hat.
I really wanted to.
Oh. What is this? Doop, doop, doop. Doop, doop, doop. Doop, doop. Oh. Onto the wizard outfit, or witch, possibly magician. It can be whatever you want it to be. The point is, I'm obsessed with this type of hat on cats. It's flawless. It's just made. It's just this. This is what it's about. Like I have to do it to them. And I had two really amazing options for the fabric to make it out of. And because my brain is huge and juicy, I decided to make the cape reversible. One side is this shiny black striped fabric, and the other side is just sparkly as shit. I added this snap close to it. Recommend, by the way, if you have any repressed rage. I like both sides, but the sparkly side is definitely more dramatic, so I decided that I would make the hat to match the sparkly side. I sort of modeled it after this hat, which I made in first year university. I've always been astounded by how good this hat looks, despite being one of my signature hot messes held together by duct tape. So I thought, yeah, I'll just do that again, but cat-sized and sparklier. I started by cutting out a base from foam to fit around his head, plus these divots for his ears. His ears, first of all, are massive, and they also start really low down on his head, like they're almost level with his eyes. Like on the cowboy hat, I had to cut out part of the brim to make it fit him correctly, so when making my own hats, I knew I was going to have to take that into account. After confirming that the base fit his head nicely, I messed around with the foam and the duct tape until I came up with a shape that I liked. He came to hang out with me again and stare down at me from his little bread basket on top of the radiator while I worked, which was nice because I could just continuously try it on him as I went along. Then I messed around with the fabric and the hot glue until I liked what I was seeing. I added a little moon shape, which honestly I don't love. I was going for something kind of similar to something I'd seen in the picture before, but just based on memory, so I don't know, in the future I might take it off or add some stars around it so it looks less out of place. Why did I put it so high up? It doesn't look good there. But ultimately, the hat and the cape both fit him amazing. He looks spectacular in his little wizard witch magician outfit. It's amazing. We'll be having a formal photo shoot in it once he's less sleepy. 9 out of 10, 1 point off for the weird shitty attempted mood. But overall, really, really good stuff. Really, really proud moment for me. Really fulfilling what I wanted out of this. The chef hat. I really wanted to make him a chef hat because we call him Little Chef a lot. Whenever he tries to, help us cook, crawl in the fridge, eat sauerkraut, all those little bingus deeds that he does. The most time-consuming part of this project, honestly, was staring at pictures of chef hats on Google Images and brooding about how to put ear holes in one. However, when it came down to it, I was very efficient with the chef hat. I scrapped all plans that involved sewing. I just went ham with a glue gun. I cut out a base similar to the wizard hat with the ear hole shape flipped because I thought it would work better this way, and it did. Yay learning experiences. I glued the circle down, kind of creating the chef hat pleats and the ear holes, just improvising and praying here, because I couldn't really try it on him the entire time. Like, by this point it was like mid-afternoon, which is nap time for baby. Don't fucking talk about my calligraphy, okay? It's got some character, the overall impression is fine. When the little rat face finally poked out of his bread basket a little while later, it was time for the reveal. It did turn out a little bit small. At first I wasn't sure why, but then I was thinking back and I realized that I made the foam base just from memory instead of looking at his actual measurements, and in my hubris, I made it 10 inches instead of 10.5. Also, I think the white circle that I cut out for the top could have been a bit bigger, get a little bit more of that puffy chef hat vibe. What I'm saying is that given a second try, I could make the most banging cat chef hat known to man. I could do it. I have the knowledge to do it on the second try. But for the first try, I do think this one turned out pretty cute, and I like it, and this photo is going to be my phone background forever. the final and arguably most important fit, the Wednesday Addams dress. Now the making of this one was the most painstaking and also the least interesting, so I don't have a ton of footage of it. The first attempt involved this dog shirt pattern that I stole from a trad wife blog or something that was selling it, but I just saved the watermarked image version and just printed it myself. It turned out terrible. Maybe if I had paid that nice trad wife blog lady, then the full version would have been better. Who's to say? It turned out terrible, but I think mostly the problem is that my cat has kind of weird proportions. It's got a really long chest area and a really tiny front side compared to his back. I'm sure if I were to buy clothing that was made proportioned for Sphynx cats, then that would fit him fine, but I didn't have time to order anything and then base my Wednesday dress off of that. So I was just going off of pictures of Sphynx cat clothing and his measurements and just kind of trying to something. Another learning curve was figuring out how to sew stretchy fabric. The internet told me to sew with a piece of tissue paper under it and then just rip the paper out of the stitches later on so that it doesn't stretch while you're sewing and do ungodly things. The tissue paper worked. Thank you, internet. I kind of just kept trying it on him and altering it as I went along. He ran away with it a few times, got all comfy and cute, so I felt bad taking it back, little Bingus deeds.
You. No.
Collar turned out kind of weird. For some reason, I just did not like it plain white. It looked weird to me, so I dismembered an old choker and did this. No, Wednesday never wears a collar exactly like that, but it still feels on brand to me. Doesn't she have a dress with little flowers like that on it at some point? I know it reminds me of something that is definitely Wednesday Addams. I originally had planned to attach the collar to the dress, but it looked pretty much the same if I just left it as a separate piece, and it made everything simpler. Turns out that I made it slightly too small to add a snap close to it, but I was not going to start over, so I used the clothes from the flower choker, and it looks horrible. But it's secure, and it fucking works, so fuck you, I'm a DIY god. Overall, I was pleased with what I'd created. He was going to look hot for our Halloween party. A couple weeks ago, I thought I had this video planned out perfectly, just right before Halloween, it's gonna be great. But then on October 28th, something happened. The ball-stealing fairy came in the night, and my boy was exiled to cone hell for 7 days. These things are hard to get appointments for right now. People with all their COVID pets running around. I'm not going to reschedule. October 28th was the day. So there was an unexpected extra accessory to go with his costumes. But honestly, I still think he looked stunning, inspiring even. Kristen and I carved our pumpkins in his image. Hers got a little abstract, but honestly, I think it looked great. I think it was a really cool design, whereas mine was a little more literal, mine looked like it was made by a 5-year-old. What we learned from this experience is that the boy will always look beautiful. He is perfect and also a model. Halloween was fun. The night of the party we ended up just letting him rest and recover that night, didn't dress him up. I had dreamed of getting some dramatic Addams Family portraits.
You have to shuffle.
You have to give this up.
I can't have toes. I don't have any toes. Yes! We didn't end up getting to do that, but at the end of the day, his health, his healing comes first. So that is okay. There will be future years. I did dress him up on the night of the trick-or-treating, even though he couldn't really participate much except to sit in the window like a little gargoyle. I'm pretty happy with how all these costumes turned out. I hope that I inspired you to put a tiny little chef hat on your cat sometime, because let me tell you, it's a very fulfilling experience. Look at him. Look at him again. This is good. This is the good shit. This is why I live. If you love and stand my boy as much as I do, you don't. I love that cat too much. But if you love my boy and you would like his gorgeous, majestic, beautiful face on a pin, we have got some of those designs over on Shopify, link in the description below, as well as all of my other things. To go send me some Anon hate on Tumblr. You can join my Patreon. We do live Q&As over there every single Wednesday. They are quite fun. And of course, I will see you in another video very soon, my friends.